Hi, today we're going to be looking at tonal shading and how to shade different objects using a normal pencil. There's lots of different things to think about when you're shading. One of them is going to be the light source. Let's talk through what we're going to be looking at. Obviously for each one it's going to be slightly different. I've changed it to black and white so you can have a quick look at that as well. What you're trying to do when you're drawing in pencil is translate the shades of colour that you've got into tones of grey. The easiest way to do this is with pencil pressure. The other way you can do it is to get yourself a set of shading pencils. So if we have a look here. So here I've drawn my outline of just the basic shapes for now, trying to get in the height and the width of my objects. What I need to do is to describe to the viewer that they are solid objects. The best way to do that is to use light tonal shading across all of your objects. Our base tone, that acts as a light tone. You can see now there's no mistaking they're solid. There's a difference between the shading there and the paper background. So what we need to do is work out on here which are our light tones, which are our dark tones, which are very light and which are very dark. I'm going to worry first of all about the dark tones, which I can see in here around the top and in the handle mostly and along this edge here. And to do that I'm just going to use probably a 2B. Okay, so I'm going to use a 6B pencil now to get the very dark areas that I can see. Once you've got the dark and the light in, you can then work with the rest of it. Now the rest of the tones are going to make sense with light, so it makes sense that the further away from the shadow you go, the lighter the shade's going to get, and build up the tones in layers. So we're next going to focus on the reflective surface, the jug. We have got some real high contrast tones in here. So we've got the dark tones on the inside and areas of dark tone here. So for the jug, I'm going to be using the 6B and the 2B, just so I can get those really dark shades in. Again, I'm going to start with the darker patches first. Be mindful of the fact that the jug is rounded, so you will be looking at the shapes and creating that sense of roundness in your shading as well. Once I've got the really dark bits on, I'm going to work with those lighter tones, the dark to the sort of mid-tone next. Right, so last up is the glass mug. It's probably going to be the hardest one to do because you can see through it. Along this edge here, you can clearly see the shadow from this mug. And then round the bottom here and up is the shadow from the table. You can see here we've got some strong highlights from the light behind us, and then a mid-tone where you can see the table through the glass. And even here where the glass changes thickness, along the top rim it has cast a shadow, so that would be a darker tone. And then in the centre you can see the light behaving differently. Again, I'm going to start with my darkest areas first. Okay, so the glass object is finished. What I can then do on all of the pieces is to take a normal rubber and just put in some highlights. Now, the next thing I would do for a still life is to give it a sense of place, so I'd then place the table. Now, if you have a look here, the table clearly is going into where the handle meets the cup here, and on the other side, probably about two-thirds of the way up on the jug. There we are. Using tonal shading on 3 different types of objects, trying to describe where the light falls. Okay, have a go yourselves. Good luck.